So yes, good evening everyone. Today we have an event of how to be ML developer and researcher in 2022. And for this event, we are glad that we have Prerna ma'am with us. She's an ML research intern at Z Media and learning data science also. So ma'am, please start the event.
Okay, thank you so much, Shaurya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is my screen visible to everybody? Is anyone who's not able to see my screen?
Visible.
It's visible. Okay, fine. So let's begin the session. So I'll start by asking you a small question. Okay, I'll ask you to imagine if you got an admission into Harvard University and you are into Harvard. It's your first day, and there's an orientation going on. Now, in Harvard, there are students from almost every nationality. There are students from every country. So they might be speaking different languages, isn't it? And you might be wondering कि यार काश सबके नीचे एक सबटाइटल आ रहा होता है ना, so that you could understand कि हाँ वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं. So let's see. Yesterday, I was reading an article which said that Facebook or Meta is developing an AI-based supercomputer in which they are actually using a lot of GPU and a lot of new technologies, into which they are saying that in future it can work as if in real time, when two people are speaking or more than two people are speaking, it can translate languages. So the dream or जो सपना था ना कि हाँ लाइव ट्रांसलेशन मिल जाता काश, तो वो चीज अब धीरे धीरे करके पूरा होने वाला है. All right. So one more thing, I'll also ask you to imagine कि Facebook is recruiting machine learning engineers and machine learning developers, and now you might be wondering कि यार काश हम भी उस प्रोजेक्ट में वर्क कर रहे होते, है ना? तो आप में से बहुत लोग होंगे will just go on on Google and they'll Google out कि how to become a machine learning researcher or developer, isn't it? So right now you don't have to go anywhere else because I'm here, I've got you covered, and that is why this session is being held. So on your screens you have this the question that you'll search on Google probably, how to become a machine learning researcher or developer in 2022. So I'll move forward and show you the flow of this session today. So I'll be giving a brief introduction about myself. I'll let you know how ML looks like in 2022. Do you really need to learn math for ML? That is a very important question as of now among students. Then I'll move forward to giving you a really brilliant roadmap that you can follow to become an ML engineer. Next, I'll show you how you can build your profile or your portfolio. Once you have learned, you have made projects in ML, you have to make a portfolio. And following which, I'll talk about a bonus. And I'll also take up your questions if you have any. So without any further ado, this is a snapshot of my LinkedIn profile. So I'm basically a pre-final year student at Maharshi Dayanand University. I've also worked as a machine learning research intern at Z Media. And prior to that, I was also working as a technical content writing intern with Geeks for Geeks. And besides that, I also love to do copywriting, resume writing. I also do UI designing. And I even contribute notebooks on Kaggle, which is a huge data science platform. And everything keeping them apart, I also love to paint. I like to paint abstract with acrylic paints. So coming to this point, that how machine learning looks like in 2022, or how far humanity has reached in machine learning, how far researches have been made, and how far advancements have been made in AI. So let's see. This is a small picture which I'm presenting on the screen. It's of the research and development that has happened until now in the field of AI, inside this red circle that you're seeing in your screens. And now this is the comparison to what amount of research is still pending in the field of AI. Here in the left corner, in the bottom, you can see the AI that humanity has studied till now. that we have studied till now. And I'm comparing that to Earth. It's like entirely, you can say that it's not even the size of a scratch that we have researched till now. So the Earth is compared to as the AI or the machine learning that has to be studied further on. So from here on, now let me show you some remarkable achievements of AI, that is machine learning. So on your screens is dactyl. Now what is dactyl? As you can see, it is a robotic arm, a robotic hand, which has been trained in a simulated environment to solve a Rubik's Cube. Now, how many of you have actually solved a Rubik's Cube in real life? Have you solved a Rubik's Cube? Well, I have not, because I'm really intrigued by the fact of the jumbled up colors and all of those stuff. So it was developed by OpenAI. It is an organization that works for all the AI development. And this is the robot in front of you. So I'm sure many of you might be, surprised by seeing this thing on your screen. So let's just move forward. I'll show you one more example. Now, I know many of you might have come across this post by, Mark Zuckerberg. This was a very viral post in which you would have seen that Mark Zuckerberg was actually, telling about the power of Facebook to play around with your data, with your personal data, like how it can manipulate with your data, and how Facebook is actually, in a way, Mark Zuckerberg was trying to, tell that Facebook is actually manipulating and mishandling your data. But this was not the video. This is a deep fake video. Now, what is deep fake? Imagine you're having a simple machine learning model, and into that you're putting a image of yours, a simple image of yours. And wonderfully, the output that you're receiving is a complete video of it, the video of your image. So this is what happened with Mark Zuckerberg, an advertising agency in USA. It actually converted a picture of Mark Zuckerberg into an entire video and used it against him itself. So this was one of those examples. And one more very beautiful example, the last example that I'll show you, is about the revolutionary GPT-3. Now, what is GPT-3? GPT-3 is basically generative pre-trained transformer. This is transformer. So basically, this transformer is a natural language based, processing system, which can generate tweets on Twitter, which can write its own poetry, which can also summarize your emails. And, most importantly, it can write code on itself. So that is something which surprised me a lot, and I wanted to share with you all. Moving on, there are many examples which I have not discussed right now, like, humanoid robots, like AI assistants, Siri and Cortana. You might be using them on regular basis, I suppose. And, the self-driving car by Tesla. And even there's one game which I came across recently. It is called Half-Life Alyx. So this is a game which is completely based upon artificial intelligence. And on the screen, you're also seeing, gender swap filter. So I have actually used it over here to show you that you're also using that on a daily basis in your Snapchat. So if you're using that gender swap filter, then it is a work of AI. So until now, I've showed you so many examples. So what do you think is exactly the definition of machine learning? Because I suppose many of you over here are, beginners or are just going to start learning machine learning, right? So what do you think could be the exact definition of machine learning? So you could give it a try. Any of you? You could use the chat box. Is anyone trying? I guess you are shy. Okay, so I knew that you won't answer. So I searched the internet, and here I have the definition, the best definition that I got, which is, training a software program with examples, experiments, or experiences so that it can recognize patterns and make predictions which you can use to complete a particular task. So the whole idea is you input some kind of data and you get an information. That is the whole idea behind machine learning. Is it? So now let me ask you some other question. It's really a fun question. So let me know if any of you are, scared of maths. Is anyone scared of mathematics? Okay, I didn't see the chat box, but people have answered. People have answered. Okay. You're not scared of maths. Lakshya is not scared of maths. Dipanshu is not scared of maths. Karan is not scared of maths. So you are the real players, I suppose. Not scared of maths. I guess you are aliens. Okay. So while learning machine learning, while you are learning about, while you will surf the internet, you'll come across people who will, tell you that do this or do that, don't learn maths. But let me break this to you. Do you really need to learn math? And the answer is, sadly, yes, you'll have to learn math. And there's no escape from that. So on a positive note, I want to show you this meme on the screen. Do you know this person? Does any one of you know this person? Because my teacher is Lakshya. Great Lakshya. Okay, he is a legend. But who is he? He's a man. Oh, man. Anyone else? You could give it a try. If you've ever heard this person, if you came across this person at any point of time. Andrew Baba. Yeah, he's Andrew Baba. And for all of you who have not known this person, who have not come across this person, you'll get to learn a lot from this person. And even the fear of math that you have in machine learning, he is the person who will actually take that away. So for the time being, if you don't understand, don't worry about it if you don't understand. There's a famous quote about this person, and I specifically Googled this for you all. So just know it. If you don't understand maths, don't worry about it. And why? Because Andrew Baba has said it. So moving on. Yeah. So this is the slide. So what I did was I was, searching the internet that how could I, tell you that what all you have to learn in mathematics. And the reason that I am first talking about mathematics is that many of you are actually scared of maths. And I know that personally. I've known people who were scared of maths, and they, because of that, reason, they didn't take up machine learning. And I'm sure after, watching this session, you also might not be scared of maths, because I've broken it down into, piece of cake. As you can see, I've just cut it into a piece of cake type of format. So all that you have to learn in mathematics for machine learning is, first you have to go through linear algebra, then you'll have to learn probability, statistics, and some amount of calculus, followed by the important algorithms in machine learning and some other stuff. So, and also one important point I want to, highlight at this point of time is that maths is a prerequisite of almost every machine learning course. For example, you'll go to take a boot camp in future, or you might buy a course from some, organization. So when you go and read the course description, in that itself, it would be written that math is a prerequisite. You should be knowing calculus, you should be knowing linear algebra, and all of those stuff. So it's better you keep it ready. It's better you understand, read, and keep a notes kind of thing for it, so that you won't face any troubles while learning the concepts of machine learning. Again, on a lighter note, this is a small, again, a picture, a meme kind of thing I found on the internet. I thought of sharing with you all that you don't need to master every topic. For example, in the picture itself, you can see there's statistics, then there's a frame that becomes machine learning. And when you present it to so many people, it becomes artificial intelligence. So what I mean to say from this is that statistics is the blood and bone of machine learning. You'll have to have a knowledge, a sound knowledge of statistics. And at some point of time in future, if you are actually working as a machine learning engineer at some company or some project, then you might definitely agree with me in this thing. So let's move forward. Let's just get a hang of the most important topics that you have to learn in mathematics. So this is something that you won't find anywhere else. This is purely from my experiences, because I took almost 2 years to properly read, understand, and develop this kind of thinking, this kind of knowledge, to just segregate the important ones from a vast pool of topics that you'll find on the internet. So first of all comes algebra. Algebra is really important in the sense because you'll be dealing with graphs, a lot of graphs in machine learning. So how would you identify graphs? How would you learn what the graph is signifying? So that is starts with algebra. In algebra, you should be having sound knowledge of variables, of coefficients, of functions, the sine function, cos function, tan function, and etc. There are many functions that you'll get to read when you are into mathematics. Then how to solve linear equations, what kind of linear equations are there, how would you solve logarithms, and the sigmoid function. So if you are watching this on a phone, I would suggest you could take a screenshot, because you won't find it on the internet. Moving ahead, about linear algebra. So in linear algebra, the majority portion is covered by matrices. So you should know about matrices, what kind of matrices are there, and how you solve linear equations using matrices. Next, I'll move towards statistics. As I said, statistics is the blood and bones of machine learning. That means you need to have a sound knowledge of statistics along with probability. You need to know machine learning, how to calculate, and you need to know mean, median, standard deviation, and you need to know about various probabilistic distributions, like the normal distribution, the the exponential distribution, then the binomial theorem. And these are few stuff that you need to have in your notebook if you are maintaining a notebook. And then moving forward to trigonometry, some amount of trigonometry is really necessary. You don't need to learn all the derivations or that sort of thing, but you need to know the formulas. That is a must. Next and last is calculus. In calculus, you should know how to calculate a derivative. You should know how to calculate the slope of a graph, what is a gradient, what are partial derivatives. So just know about these topics, learn these topics, but again, you don't have to master each and every of them, only those which I have written over here. So now I suppose that all of you have got over the fear of maths, and you're no more scared of maths, if any one of you were scared of maths. And for all those of you who were actually not scared of maths, it's fine. Now I think I should share the roadmap with you all. But before that, I would want you all to put it into your mind that it would take approximately 6 months, and it could take more of that, like around 10 months. And according to Harvard Business Review also, it will take you 6 months to develop a skill properly. So I have broken down the entire the roadmap into 2 parts. The first part being about the beginner level. So when you're about to start learning the machine learning part, the AI part, so you are at a beginner level at that point of time. So now you already have a knowledge of mathematics, as I told you prior to this, that you have learned mathematics. And once you have a good hold of all those topics, move forward to learning a programming language. Now, programming language could be any, but what I suggest from my personal experience, it has to be Python. Because Python is very flexible, and it's a programming language that if you start coding in it, you'll definitely fall in love with it. The programming language is Python for sure. And you can also go with R, but R is not that much flexible as compared to Python. Learn Python, and in Python, go with the data structures. The important data structures are lists, and you have strings, you have dictionaries, sets. And I would suggest you just, learn all those the methods and the functions which are associated with these data structures. Moving further, and one more thing, while you are learning Python, it is mandatory that you practice it. So in these 3 to 5 months that you are learning all these things, the math, Python, concepts, algorithms, just make sure that you make an account on HackerRank. HackerRank is the best platform for practicing the questions which are language specific, that is related to Python. So practice, I would suggest practice most of the questions of Python. Start by doing the beginner level questions, then move to the intermediate level questions. And I'm sure you'll build up a level of confidence in Python. And that is actually necessary while you're doing machine learning projects. Moving on, after Python, just go ahead and learn about the machine learning concepts, machine learning algorithms. Now, these two things can go hand in hand because they are quite related. Machine learning concepts, that you could learn that, about the various algorithms like the regressors, the classifiers, and also maintain a notebook alongside it. Now, when you're learning about the algorithms, make sure you dive deeper. You just go ahead and learn that what each algorithm is doing and when to use which algorithm. You cannot be using a classifier where a regressor is needed, and or you cannot be using a regressor where a classifier is needed. So you should understand the difference between them and where to use which algorithm. Now, once these 3 to 5 months are over, you'll have a basic understanding of what you're learning, on which career path you are moving forward. And the next part is that you will reach on an intermediate level after this. If you want to further pursue this career field, you'll reach on an intermediate level, and you'll start learning the ML libraries, the Python ML libraries that are available open source. So some libraries like the TensorFlow, scikit-learn, Keras. Now what you have to do is, you don't have to go ahead and learn all the the functions or the method calls that are available, all the APIs that are available on in these open source libraries. What you have to do is just open up the official site, and you'll have the documentation of each and every function, each and every API. Just use those APIs and just see what each API is doing. You just have to know how to import that API and use in your code. Because entirely when you will be building projects, you won't be actually you can't remember. There's a pool of things to learn from, and you cannot remember each and everything. The one skill that you have to develop while learning machine learning is the skill of Googling. So you should learn how to Google stuff, because there's nothing that you can memorize and keep in your mind. So once you have learned the machine learning libraries, the Python libraries, move ahead and build small projects. Now, I remember the first project that I made was a bouncing ball game using a Kinter, a library in Python, which is called Kinter. And that was not a machine learning library, but that was particularly, a GUI-based library for building GUI applications. So that was the first project that I made. And so like this, you could, practice some projects. But in machine learning, you could try building sentiment analyzers. You could try building cancer predictors, and there are many projects out there on YouTube if you search out for beginners, and there are people who are actually teaching how to build those projects. So once you have done build your projects, you don't have to keep it on your local computer systems. You have to show it to the world that yes, I have built projects. So learn version control with Git. At this point of time, you should be learning GitHub. You should be learning how to push your code from the local system to the remote system that is on the GitHub. So in this point of time, you would be learning bash commands. You would be learning how to use controls on your system to code on your system to push the code on GitHub. So learn version control with GitHub. And there are many courses available out there. There is even course by GitHub. They also give training on this version control and stuff. So after you have your project on GitHub, you have built your project. So you have built your project and you have hosted it on GitHub. Now it's time that you deploy your project. Now what is the difference between pushing your code on GitHub and deploying it? So imagine that you have an image of your code, and imagine that your code is working. So putting your code on GitHub is similar to sending an image to someone. You send images on your smartphones, on your WhatsApp or some other platform. So in a similar way, your code is just in a form of a snapshot present there on GitHub. It cannot be run. It cannot be used. So if you want people to use your project, if you want people to know that yes, your project is working in this manner, you have to deploy it. And for deployment, you'll have to learn some cloud technologies like AWS. Then you have Microsoft Azure. Then there are also many hosting platforms like Heroku, deployment platforms. So all of these things are there to learn. So again, summarizing, first you will be learning mathematics, then you will be learning Python. Then you'll move forward to learn the machine learning concepts, the algorithms and stuff. Moving ahead, you'll learn the libraries, the ML libraries available in Python. Then you'll build small projects. Then you'll push those projects on GitHub, and then you'll deploy your projects. So in the span of this 6 months, you'll be having a good amount of projects. You'll be having a good amount of confidence, so that you can build your profile, you can build your portfolio, and go ahead and apply for jobs. So let's see how you'll build a portfolio, how I build a portfolio, and how you can attract jobs. So building your portfolio as an ML developer. So here you are. First, you can see I've put a single page resume on the screen. Now this is what you have to build: a single page resume. The single page resume should reflect all your projects, should reflect all your skills, and it should actually represent you, as in, yes, you are a person who is having a good knowledge of mathematics, who is having a good knowledge of statistics, who has built a good number of projects, and who has good level of skills in machine learning. So this should be in a single page format, and it should be compact. Once you are having a good resume, an attractive resume, just move forward and build your profile on these platforms. Now these two platforms are really important from the point of view of getting jobs: LinkedIn and Kaggle. You all know about LinkedIn, and I'm sure many of you might be having accounts on LinkedIn. But it's really necessary for those of you who don't have an account on LinkedIn, just make one, and along with LinkedIn you make a profile on Kaggle. And on both of these platforms, just keep them up to date with all of your recent projects, with all of your recent if you have published any research paper, or if you're working with any organization or stuff like that, or the new skills or any certification that you're doing, just keep it updated. Because there are recruiters who actually hire people. Even I have got hired at many positions through LinkedIn itself. So it's kind of a small resume of yours which is available online for people to see. So, and talking about Kaggle, again, it's a very popular platform for data scientists. There you can find data sets available over there. You can find machine learning models available there. There are many competitions which are held throughout the world on Kaggle by big companies, by big tech companies. And yeah, this is it for your online presence part. Moving on, now while I was learning machine learning, I was actually a bit lost as to which resources to follow when it comes to building projects, when I am stuck with anything while I'm building any project. So you have to follow these standard publications which I have listed on the screen, which is a kind of, you can say, legit publications. First one is Analytics India magazine. The second is Medium. Then there is Towards Data Science. The Towards Data Science is again a publication on Medium. And there's Analytics Vidya. Then there is Free Code Camp. So all of these, websites that I've listed over here, these are really necessary while you're building a project. You'll find all the answers to all of your questions on these websites itself. And then again, there is Stack Overflow. But I personally found that Stack Overflow has a lot of mixed answers. And every time it doesn't solve, it didn't solve all the, queries that I had. At some point of time, yes, but at some point of time, no. So follow these resources. These are much better. I find them much better. And there are many people who are writing, blogs and articles, and people who have faced a similar situation as yours. You'll find people like those also who are writing an entire blog and article on these publications. Besides that, you can also participate in month-long competitions which are held on Kaggle. Again, I was talking about Kaggle. I forgot to say that you should participate in all the contests, or not all, but some of the contests, because it will help you build your, first it will help you build your portfolio, and second, it will get you, build a certain kind of a confidence when you will be talking about your projects or talking about your achievements in the field of machine learning. Next, moving forward, after this, as you already will have made an account on GitHub, you can also, contribute to open source projects. Now, which open source projects, you might be wondering? The open source projects that I have listed on the screen right now, like OpenCV, like TensorFlow, Scikit-learn, even Jupyter. Jupyter is an IDE that you would be using heavily while machine learning. And again, Keras, then you have Spark ML, BERT, etc. So here's the bonus, the time for bonus. So have you heard that saying that early bird gets the worm? Have you heard that? Okay. So please tell us what you will suggest platform for learning Python. I'm coming to that point. Okay. So have you heard this, saying, early bird gets the worm? Anyone? Yeah, Tanya has heard that. Karan has heard that. Okay. So what do you consider yourself? The bird or the worm? Okay, the bird. No one is the worm? Well, you can be a worm also. There's no harm. Okay. So you consider yourself, so the worm is the one left behind. Yeah. Yeah, that question mark kind of thing. Bird will eat me. Okay. Okay. So for those of you who have stayed till the end, till here, I have got a bonus for you all. And it is this. It is a complete curation of all the free resources, of all the YouTube channels, of all the free books that I have gathered in these 2 years while I was learning machine learning. So I'll be providing you a small, 1-minute feedback form. Just fill that out so that I can have your email. And I'll send you that curation of, in a form of an ebook format with proper subtitle, with proper, headings that this particular resource has to be used at this point of time. Like use this YouTube video to learn this thing. So in that format, I have actually gathered every resource, every free books that I gathered on various platforms, and I'll be giving that to you. So for all of you who have stayed till now. So if you want me to, share that feedback form, just let me know. Yeah. Is it have good future? Okay. Yeah, I'll take that question in the end. But first, let me know if you want this compilation of free resources. So I'll share that with you all. Tanya is saying yes. Karan saying yes. And okay. So Manav is saying yes. Okay. So just wait for a second or two. I'll be sharing that in the chat box sooner. Just let me complete one small section that is about the internships, as Karan was asking about his future. So you can absolutely build your future in machine learning by applying into internships. And these are few of those, internship platforms that I have, come across and I have used a lot for finding internships while I was applying for one. So first one is Monster, next is Indeed, then Angel List is definitely you should have your account ready on Angel List. On LinkedIn, absolutely. Dare to Compete, yeah, on Dare to Compete on regular basis they are sharing internships and everything for students. Insta Hire and Cutshot HQ, these two, okay, I haven't used them that often, but I've heard a lot about them also. So yes, now I'll take your questions if you have any, and I'll be sharing that form link in the chat box. So I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll hand over to Shaurya. So Shaurya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Actually, I was unable to unmute myself.
It's okay. It's okay. So I'm sharing that feedback form with the students, and I'll be taking their,
Yes, ma'am.
questions if they have it.
Guys, if you have any question, then please ask, because right now, ma'am can answer, but it will be difficult for you if you don't ask and have doubt in your inside yourself. It would be a trouble for you.
So I've given you the link to the form. It would take only a minute, and I'll have your emails. I'll share the resources with you all. So, okay, I've given the link, Lakshya. You have it. And the question, what should I do? Is it have good future? Okay, Karan, ML is the future. AI is the future. And if I'm saying that, it definitely means that you'll have a really good future if you are into this field. And that's why I have also chosen this field. It has a really good future. It has, a huge pay for all those people who work really hard, who work really well in this field. So yes, I would definitely go with, ML. Can we get enough time to do ML with college? I'm a live example in front of you. I've also done ML with college. I'm still in my college, and I'm also doing an internship. You're in third sem, and I would say definitely. I started when I was in, second semester. So you are one semester late. I started in second semester. You can always start. Okay, devotee of Mahakal. If I'm a beginner of ML, what kind of internship I should go for? If you are a beginner, then you should, first build projects. I won't suggest you to go for internships. First, build projects, understand what you are doing, why you are doing, do you really want to do it? Then go for internships. Internships are the kind of internships that you should apply to. If you're getting a paid internship, then it's absolutely fine. If you're not getting a paid internships, do the one where you get to learn something new, or get to work on something which is part of a bigger project. So you can ask people from industry. You can ask people who are already working in the industry to have you in their projects, if they can, if it's possible for them to have you in their projects. Or at the same time, you can also build similar projects, industry level projects on your own. just I wouldn't stress much upon this fact that you should learn, make projects of good level, because if you still don't have internships, you have your projects to back up. Does that answer your question, devotee of Mahakal? And the next one, my third sem exams are ongoing, so I will be starting my ML in fourth semester. Yes, you can start at any point of time. And what startups can we do with ML? There are many startups. Once you start learning into ML, I would suggest right now, if you are really building any startup, then the technology of natural language processing is really into a boom. And anything that you build with NLP will surely have a really good feedback. It would be accepted on a great level. So you could do something with NLP, some startup with NLP. Then you can do some startup relating to computer vision, like you're solving some problem using computer vision, you're solving some problem using natural language processing. So that's it. Any more questions? I think Karan is really interested in machine learning. I suppose he'll be working at Facebook as an ML researcher in future. Thanks, I was just confused what to learn. So is it cleared? Is it cleared, Karan? What to learn, how to learn? Okay. So I think 99%. So where did that 1% go? So I will go for it. That's great. At least I was able to motivate someone, at least one person. Web or app development. Oh, you can do that also along with machine learning. It isn't web isn't overrated. Without web, you won't be able to present your project to someone. You'll have to use some web technology into it. So you cannot say it's overrated. You can say it's everywhere. That there's a lot of crowd. Like every second person is doing web development. And okay, I suppose everybody's doubts are cleared, Shaurya.
Yes, ma'am. I also suppose the same.
Okay.
Devotee of Mahakal is just rocking the chat box.
Yeah, there are two people,
Yes,
devotee of Mahakal and Karan. And I am sure that they'll be one day working at Facebook.
yes,
So
definitely.
Karan and devotee of Mahakal, just let me know if you're working with the data of people making that AI supercomputer. Okay. Thank
So
you, everybody.
yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for accepting the invite. And thank you very much for
Thank you so
sharing
much.
this valuable information. And Squad Growth is
Thank you.
looking for more such sessions with you on machine learning itself.
Thank you so much, Shaurya.
Thank
Surely
you.
I'll join you all again at
Yes,
some time.
ma'am. And everyone,
Thank you.
if you are on Discord, then please share your Discord ID or its username basically, so that I can give you the SG coins. Basically, that's a virtual currency of a Squad Growth. So if you are on Discord, then message your username on the message channel in event section.